In Ghost of Tsushima, Jin Sakai at the beginning of the game, he actually ends up losing the war he's in. Correct me if I'm wrong, they're battling the Mongols and they lose like pretty bad. Which if you don't know, in Japan, especially samurai days, losing is like losing your honor, bro. A lot of like samurai would commit like the sue after that because it's like seen as like you lost your honor, bro. You lost. And even like after that, he becomes like Jin, the main character samurai. He becomes like down for a little bit, like he feels like he's not worthy. And throughout the game, he has to build up that confidence back, build up his skills back, and they actually end up winning the war at the end. There are many games like start like that. Mario Odyssey, Mario at the beginning loses. Sonic Unleashed, Sonic ends up losing, even though he looks like he goes super, which is basically like Super Saiyan. He ends up losing that battle. What I'm trying to say in this second part of Life is Game, first part I was talking about like life is a game in like obstacles way. You got obstacles you got to overcome. When obstacles come your way, don't fret, don't fear, don't try to go back. Just like a video game, you're gonna fail when you need to, but get over these obstacles because they're gonna make you better. But one thing I want to talk about, just like in a game, is there will be big moments, big times, big things in life when you will fail, even when you feel like you're at your peak, best physique, you're the smartest you've been, whatever, you're the best at whatever you've been, you will lose. And a lot of times you will face a humiliating loss. It's like in these games, I know that like you face losses to where characters like, you know, like Sonic, Mario, you know, you see them for years, you see them work, see them train, and they lose at the beginning of the game. They lose at their best states. And after that, a lot of them become severely like depressed because they're like, man, I was working so hard, I got to my peak and I still lost. And this can happen to us a lot, not like necessarily us like fighting a bad guy or whatever, but it could be like you study for a test really hard, you was doing, you know, really hard for the test and you needed to pass it. You don't pass. It could be a driver's license, it could be a permit. This can relate to anything. You didn't get a contest, you didn't win something. You know, there will be points where you face like losses. There's normal losses, but then there's like big losses where it feels like humiliated ills, and you're like, man, how can I bounce back from this? Tell you, bro, and I'm here to tell you, sometimes those losses, bro, are the most important losses we can have. Because one, just like a game character, it can humble you. You still got to put practice in even when you feel like you're at your top peak. And it also like humbles you in a way where it's like, man, you can still lose, bro. You can still, everyone is going to take L's throughout their life, even when you feel like, even when you hit that millionaire status, even when you hit that big YouTuber status, you're still going to take L's. Because that's just a part of it. It's a yin and yang, good and evil, L's and W's. And it sounds kind of depressing, like everyone will take L's, but it's how everyone takes L's that to decide like how your life is going to be. Now, let me explain that. When you take losses, you got to be like a video game character. You know, soak in, accept, bro, as a human, accept like, man, maybe even get it out like that you lost, because sometimes it can be bad, like, man, I'm going to L, this is L time period right now, I'm going through something bad. Accept it, get your tears out, whatever y'all do, but then you have to start thinking of how you're going to bounce back. When a main character loses to a villain, they can't sit and moan all the time because they know the villain's going to take over, they know they're going to make it worse. So they have to get their time of getting their mental back right, but they know they have to bounce back, work harder, find new people, whatever it be. Whenever you're going through these times, think like a main character in a video game, because you are the main character, bro. Of your life, you're the main character. You're the story. You're the main video game character. So you got to think how you're gonna bounce back. Because if you quit right here, your story over. Your story can't be over already. So you gotta start thinking how you're gonna bounce back. Sometimes it could just be more positively thinking. Sometimes it could be doing something different. Sometimes it could be cutting people off, whatever it is. But just like I said, we all gonna take L's. It's about your mindset, bro. You need to have a bounce back mindset, and okay, whenever bad things come your way, I've adopted this mindset too. I'm like, okay, what is the lesson I can learn out of this? When I was sick for a week, and then I was sick, and I finally get better, my car wouldn't start. Of course, you're human. You're human. You're gonna get a little mad. You're gonna feel like, man, why does all this happening? But ever since like I've adopted this growth like mindset, it was like, okay, I know my car gonna start. I just gotta, fix it a little bit. And I know I was sick because it was a sign saying, okay, you need to eat better. Appreciate what you got to. Appreciate your health and stuff like that. And then when my car, it feels like L at the time, but maybe it was protecting me from something I didn't know. So always, like, when you're taking these L's and you feel like you're taking L after L, just know, I like to live by this code. If you're taking a bunch of L's in a row, a bunch of losses, a W is right around the corner. But there's also a reverse of this. If you're taking a bunch of W's, taking a bunch of wins, a L is around the corner. But there's a way in life to where L's don't have to be as bad, because losses are just opportunities to learn, bro. It's not failure. You will take losses, but it's not a failure. There's losses and failure. A failure is like you take your loss and then you just take it and you don't do nothing with it and you just say, nah, I'm done. That is a failure. But a loss can turn to a lesson real quick. And lessons are important because lessons are what build people. In reality, bro, we are all built up of lessons we learn. We know not to touch the stove because we learned the lesson, put it in our hand on the stove, it burned it. You know that. That's something engraved in your mind. You know not to eat certain foods because you might throw up because you just don't like the foods. That's a lesson. People are just lessons. Like, I feel like that's what we gotta realize. A lot of us, no, all of us, as people, things we say, things we do, things we even eat, are all built up of lessons. People are just lessons. We're just a bunch of lessons we learned over time to present ourselves now. That's why when the kid is like being bad, doing bad things, they're like, oh, I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I'm gonna teach you a lesson that you should not be doing these things because there's a consequence. Me, it's all me, you are. We just are a bunch of lessons, bro. A bunch of lessons that we learn throughout our lives to keep going. Don't say certain things to certain people because they might get mad. Don't talk this way because it's rude and you're not gonna be able to get friends. We are all just lessons. So lessons are important, bro. When you're taking these L's, think this. Okay, when you're taking an L and you feel like something bad's happening, look and just think. If you don't believe in God, okay, but I like doing this. Look and think, okay, what is the lesson? What is I supposed to learn from here? There's always something you can learn even from bad situations. Okay, what did I learn to do this bad situation with me being sick in the cold? Okay, you need to have your car started in the cold a lot. Even if you're sick, you need to remember to do that. Now, I bet you when next winter come around, I'm going to make sure my car started moving, all that. These are important lessons because if I never learned that, I would have just let my car sit because, I live with my mom, so it's like, Mom, they don't know much about cars. Even like, oh, I didn't know the winter you had to do all. Yeah, so it's like these lessons you got to learn. I promise you start looking at your L's, a majority of L's, because some L's are just L's, but majority of L's as lessons, you're going to improve as a person. You're going to have a much more positive mindset. Because even when you're taking a bunch of W's and no L's around the corner, that's okay. I know that L around the corner because I need to learn a lesson. So it's always good. It's always humbling as well. Basically, all I wanted to say in this video is part 2 of living life like a video game. Life is a video game is. When you the main character and you built up and you feel like you 100% level, you will face that big humiliating loss. It will be around the corner. When you feel like you're unstoppable, God is going to show you are not stoppable. You are stoppable. You are human. It's not to get you to quit. It's not to get you to give up. It's not to get you to say, man, I'm done. It's to get you to, one, humble yourself to know anyone can take a loss and, remain more humble because you never know what's around the corner. And 2, it's an opportunity to bounce back even stronger and become even better because there ain't no limit to you getting better. You can always get better somehow. Even when you're at 100%, you can get to 101%. That's it for this video, y'all. I want y'all to join up the Discord. I think we just hit like 10 members. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to be more active. I wasn't really active while I was sick, so I'm definitely going to send this video through. Man, thank y'all for 200 subs. We hit 200 subs. We just growing pretty we growing pretty fast. So thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for all the support with the videos. I'm going to catch y'all boys later. Peace.